Welcome to the Bravo Charlie Club podcast, making you 12 and a half minutes more awesome each week. I'm Richard. He's Ben. Let's go.
Let's go, Richard. How have you been, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks, Ben. Pretty good. A change of surroundings for me this week down in Melbourne.
Looks like you're recording from interstate.
I am. Yes.
We'll get to that, probably cover it in the travel tip of the week. Let's kick off with the Fully Awake project.
Let's go.
I want to have a crack at this one, mate. It's stepping into dangerous territory, so I feel like it should go without saying, but I'm just going to say it anyway. We are not doctors, listeners.
Ozempic.
Ozempic. Can we trust it? It's made the news again and again and again for many multiple reasons. And I'm just interested. Have you got any thoughts of it? Have you tried it? Is probably a first question. Where do you sit on this?
So I have tried Ozempic actually. So I have. I'm a bit experimental with that kind of stuff. Not sure where you draw the line, but I guess Ozempic is in the box. So gave it a try late last year and tried it for 2 months. So you ease onto it with a half dose, a 3/4 dose before you sort of work up to a full dose. So I didn't get up to the full dose. I was using it to try and drop some kilos, which it did successfully. The challenge I had with Ozempic is I'm a cyclist, and so you're sort of an endurance cyclist in particular. So I like to do sort of like long bike rides, 100 Ks and sort of plus. And the challenge I had was keeping my energy levels up while I was on Ozempic on the longer ride. Anything that sort of pushed out over 2.5, 3 hours just became, I would just run out of energy. You just kind of the equivalent of sort of a lightweight.
So bonk. I'm hearing you're a bit of a pincushion for yourself. You're happy to use yourself as a scientific experiment.
I am, yeah. I'll give it a go. I mean, as long as it's not life-threatening.
I don't think. I mean, let's be clear. Ozempic works. I don't think that's in doubt. In fact, you said yourself you dropped some kilos. So why did you stop?
I just couldn't go over about 3.5 hours of riding. I just felt too flat. It was the equivalent of bonking. So,
which in cycling world is not a long ride, is it? Really?
No, it's not. 3.5 hours is probably nudging the 100K kind of mark, which is a
ride to the shops for the milk.
It's a Saturday ride for the bunch, so we do those kinds of rides pretty regularly, and it's just you couldn't do that. So I lost about 5 kilos over the 8 odd weeks that I was on it before I took myself off. So
interesting. And for those who haven't met Richard, he's not necessarily a big guy anyway. So to lose 5 kilos in 8 weeks does show that the product works. From my side, mate, I mean, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I've actually been prescribed Ozempic and never filled the prescription. I love my doctor. She's done amazing things. This is actually the first time I've never listened to her, mainly because I understand it's designed to be consumed for life. And it just was not something I was comfortable with. So it's interesting, and in the same way, the COVID medication was sort of coming out a little bit untested. I sort of had that feeling about Ozempic. We're probably past the safety aspect now, but I'm probably not one to say never. But this one, I'm pretty whatever the next step below never is probably where I'm sitting on that one. I just don't want to have it. I'm already on insulin and thyroxine for life. Adding a financial load and a body load, it doesn't suit me.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating drug though in how it works, and the pharmaceutical companies will build on top of that, and the sort of, I think the second, third, and fourth generation drugs that sort of come out after this, when more information gets in, and they synthesize that data down, and all those kinds of genetic targeting, that sort of thing. The future of those type of drugs is really interesting.
Interesting.
But as a society will get better at that over time.
So we're not saying no Ozempic. I'm just saying no Ozempic for me. Yeah, interesting. Hey, speaking of insulin, one of the challenges when traveling is obviously trying to keep it cool. I've recently worked out that insulin doesn't actually have to be kept below 25 degrees for extended periods of time, which was what it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it can survive outside of a fridge quite well. So I've been doing a fair bit of extensive testing on that and not refrigerating my insulin. My HbA1c is steady. So anyone who's
how do you know? Like if it goes off or something, or it's
insulin that I carry is in a 3 ml vial, and it goes cloudy if it's been heat affected. And it's clear by nature. You can see straight through the vial. And if it goes cloudy, that's the giveaway from what I'm told.
A 3 ml vial, that must be tiny.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So I just keep it in a tiny little pen bag and it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
3 mils last me approximately 3 days. So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Depending on what I'm eating, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, listen, in the travel tips, this started out as a conundrum, but I was speaking to someone who was traveling. They were heading to Singapore, and I said, "Oh, it's great. Chris Fly rewards program is excellent." And they weren't a member. And they'd actually, I was in Darwin last week. We got asked by a listener where I was recording from, and I was in Darwin, head to Tim's Surf and Turf for a meal and don't eat lunch.
Yes, get down to Tim's.
He's amazing. And I said, "Oh, how did you get to Darwin?" He's like, "Oh, with Virgin." I was like, "Oh, so you'd be a member of the Velocity program." And he's like, "No, I'm not a member of that either." And I was like, it just does my head in. Like from a travel perspective, if you're not a member of Virgin or Qantas and you're flying on those airlines, they give you points that don't expire. It just makes no sense to me to not accept the loyalty reward. I'm not saying you have to increase your flights and that kind of thing, but if there's a carrot being attached to using one or the other, take the points. And in fact, there's a guy, Steve Huey, runs a business called I Fly Flat. Now, this is a gentleman who left in a corporate accounting gig to set up a business helping people take advantage of rewards programs.
Oh, really? Wow, fantastic.
So that's how, again, I'll just repeat that.
What's it called?
It's called I Fly Flat is his business. And he literally left a corporate accounting gig to set up this business. And now he spent 1 billion points on behalf of his clients, helping them, fly business class and flight upgrades and things all around the world. And I'm not saying go and spend money you don't have to take trips you don't want, but if you're doing something, take the advantage, because guess what? It's built into the price. So they assume that you're going to use the value of those points in the future. So grab them or pool them or use them however you can, but don't miss out. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the lounges. Love the frequent flyer lounges.
Yeah. The free wrap and the free coffee is not.
Yeah, I know.
Not where Steve's headed. Yeah,
the Gold Coast Virgin Lounge needs an update.
Yeah, and in
Richard
fact,
Branson, if you're listening,
I've discovered that we've got these things called show notes. Richard, did you know that podcasts have show notes? So
show notes?
Yeah,
wow.
so I'll put a link to Steve's business in there. So those listeners who are driving along and they can't write that down, just pop back to the show in a second. Speaking of listeners, you've been called out, mate.
Uh-oh. What for now?
Sitting on the fence during the snorkel conundrum.
Oh, yes. Well, there was some fence sitting done there. Yeah. Guilty as charged.
So I just wonder if we have to admit to our listeners that we're not going to solve every conundrum. It's our 6th episode. We've solved 4. So let's see how we go this week as we lead in.
Still batting above average there, but look,
the best baseballers in the world hit 3 out of 10 apparently. So let's try and stay above that. I'm not sure how podcasting conundrums compares to baseballing averages, but it's got to be. It's got to be in the mix, doesn't it?
It's a fair analogy, I think. I'm calling it fair.
We'll run with it. Which brings us to the conundrum of the week. You had something you needed to bring up.
I did. Sundoku, which I'm pretty sure is how you say it if you're wielding a samurai sword.
Yeah. But, stick to Duolingo, folks.
I love how there's a Japanese word for it.
There's a lot of power. What is it?
It's that pile of books that you've got sitting beside your bed that you've been meaning to read, but you never quite get round to. So I have a very large pile of books. I think it's nudging about 35 books in that pile. That's more than a year's worth of reading, and I've banned myself for the rest of the year from buying any more books. So I just wish list them now, which is probably cheaper.
So June ban, or is that early in the annual banning? Because you've banned yourself from book buying before.
Yes, unsuccessfully. Yeah, I have. It's true. Yes, guilty as charged yet again. The witch hunt, the rich hunt.
I want to give you a spin on that one. I think buying books is a reflection of your IQ, or at least a desire to have a developed IQ.
Aspirational IQ.
Aspirational IQ. Like when people come in, and look, I'm the same, right? People walk into my home and they see the books and they, have you read all the books? I say, well, I bought all the books.
You did buy all the books, yes.
It's and I think there's a knowledge stealth that happens where it's sort of, if you put the book under your pillow, it morphs into your body.
I remember, was it a couple of years ago, Ben? I bought your book,
Saul Griffith's book.
That's right, Electrify. Yes. I bought us both a copy, and that was the book that we were going to read, and then we were going to discuss it.
And then he brought out a new one before we read it.
And he brought out a new book in the meantime.
He updated it. And I was like, this is all wrong.
And what do you do with the old book? It's probably still good, but I don't know. He's got a new one now. Would I be better off reading that? I don't know.
I haven't told anyone this, but I gifted the book that you gave me to someone who thought it was an amazing gift and didn't.
We should get the notes from him.
Can you read it and tell me what it was like? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, look, I think that's the thing. So the conundrum is, what do you do with the pile of books? And
how many is enough? How big? Should you?
It's a really good question.
A hard, when can I buy books again? Should I have a hard limit? Should be 20, and then if I get down to 19, I'm allowed to buy another one. Or
I think you need to understand that we are mortal, and there's a point where you'll have more books than you'll possibly be able to read.
It's easily done. Yeah.
Before you check out. So there's your limit. If you can pick the exact date that you're leaving us, then that's the number of books that you can have. I hope it's a long time into the future, by the way.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. I'm going to go with that.
We will. Well, that's it, Richard. Listeners have been BCC'd on the week. Bravo, Charlie.
And that's the pod.